We are live. Okay. Thanks for listening into this Sports Epilogue podcast. With me today is Luis Andres Moreno from Madrid, and we're going to talk about all the latest news in soccer. So, Luis, what did you think of the Zlatan Ibrahimovic transfer to Manchester United? It was a free transfer, so Manchester United um, didn't have to purchase him to acquire his services from another club. He was a free agent. Do you think it was an astute pickup by Jose Mourinho?
I was predictable because they have a good friendship from Inter Milan. So I wish he had come to Madrid, but it wasn't to be.
But at Real Madrid, I mean, you already have the strikers. Like you have Karim Benzema, Cristiano Ronaldo.
Well,
Um,
we actually don't have that many, to be honest. Like, I mean, we have a lot of top players, but strikers, we only have. Well, now we have Morata, so yeah, now we have two. But before that, we only had Benzema. I mean, Ronaldo can play there as well, but it's not his natural position. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm just a huge fan of Zlatan, so I wish we had got him, but yeah, I don't know how many years he's got left in him. He's in good shape for his age. I think he's like 35 or 36. Yeah,
so he's, yeah, 30 now. Um, but and I think Zlatan's got a 1-year contract at Manchester United, so it's not a Manchester United don't see this as a long-term thing, because if you compare Manchester United strikers to Real Madrid's, one thing that stands out is the young players Manchester United have. So Anthony Martial from France, and Marcus Rashford, of course, who's taken over the English national team and performed like really well. So it'll be interesting to see how Zlatan can impact that dynamic, whether Jose will play a two-striker formation. Traditionally, he hasn't been known to do that. He's more of a 4-2-3-1 kind
yeah.
of person. How do you see Zlatan fitting into the formation?
It's going to be hard because if he plays him, how are you going to keep Rashford satisfied? I mean, he's so good, that guy. He might be young, but he deserves. He would make it into the starting 11 of some teams, definitely. And with this signing, the only thing probably that comes as a surprise is that because they're not in the Champions League, maybe that was the only. I think Arsenal fans were so annoyed because they were like, "Oh, so we're in the Champions League. United aren't yet. They still get Zlatan before we do." So that was yeah. I mean, I think that might have been the surprise, the fact that he's gone to a non-Champions League club. I mean, I think United will make top four this time. They might even go for the league. So we'll see.
Okay, so it
Yeah,
just
froze.
froze for a moment.
Yeah, just keep going.
That's fine. Just for the listeners who don't know, we're conducting this over. And in fact, Zlatan came from the youth academy in Arsenal, if I'm
Yeah,
correct. Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, he's got some funny quotes. I can't remember it exactly, but he said that Arsenal wasn't a real club or something like that. And well, recently he's also said recently that he's kind of got the right to say this, but well, he said that the French league, it just wasn't up to his standard, which is kind of true. I mean, I think PSG this season there was a bigger points differential between first and second than second and the relegation places. So that is just massive. But yeah, I mean, the Premier League will be totally different. I think it's a bit of a shame that he didn't go there before, or even Messi. Like, it's a shame that these players. Well, see that I give Ronaldo credit because he's been to both. So and he's handled both leagues quite well. But we'll never know with Messi, for example, because he doesn't seem to be going anywhere. With Guardiola, they said that he might go to Man City. I don't think that will happen. And Ibrahimovic, he might be too old. Who knows? He is Zlatan, so you never know. But we'll see.
Yeah, he's one of these players who seems to get better with age.
Oh yeah, yeah. Not many have. Yeah, well, I can't think of another player. Well, I mean, Ronaldo's coping with age quite well. Um, but yeah,
He,
there
um,
aren't that many more.
yeah, so I mean, Zlatan, would have had this moment like it's now or never to play in the English Premier League because he's already retired from the national team, Sweden. So
Yeah.
that should help him with his club commitments to actually withstand the rigors of the English Premier League because the English Premier League is so different to you've got these teams that can still compete, with Barcelona, Real Madrid, um, and you were talking about Messi before. Messi, he's only known one club, Barcelona, and Ronaldo played at Manchester United. He went to Real Madrid. He played for Sporting in Portugal. I don't think he'll be going to Man City. I just think he's a Barcelona player at heart. And all the stories of when he was a young kid and he was quite sick, and Barcelona helped him get the medicine he needed to survive. I forgot connection with Jose Mourinho in Inter when he was playing with, Mario Balotelli when he was very young, 19 years old. So they have that connection there, and it'll be interesting to see how the Jose Mourinho and Zlatan Ibrahimovic relationship works. I mean, Zlatan's even made the comment that he would kill for Mourinho. He would do anything for him, and
Yeah.
that seems like such an exciting relationship, and also an appointment for Manchester United to get a manager of Jose Mourinho's quality, someone that instills that passion and fire into his players. But what happened with Chelsea though? Why? Because it was the worst season in his managerial career to date, and
Yeah, basically.
yeah,
I mean, it wasn't just his fault. I think what struck me, even before the season started, was how few players they had signed. I think you could tell before the season started they were even in my view they were even struggling to have a full bench of quality players. And so as soon as I saw that, I thought, well, if they get a couple of injuries, they're going to struggle. They did have some significant injuries, from what I remember, but yeah, Courtois was out for most of that. They were all just really poor. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't think he's not a Chelsea man anyway. He doesn't actually belong to a club. Like, um, I mean, my club is after Madrid. Yeah, I like Chelsea because of the way they play. I'm not really a diehard fan of them, but I mean, yeah, I can understand why Mourinho has gone to United. He just belongs in top clubs. Chelsea, to be fair, it's only now that they've become a top club because of Abramovich and all the financial resources that they have. They didn't have them before, so um, no, yeah, I'm not surprised that he's gone there
yeah,
to
and
United.
talking about the financial resources under Abrahamovich, who's like a billionaire owner,
Yeah,
and in terms of sponsorship deals and marketing, I mean, Manchester United is one of the top clubs, if not the top club in sponsorships. With Nike, Aon, the insurance company, which is a global juggernaut. So transfers shouldn't be an issue. But as we saw with Louis van Gaal, transfers are not everything. You can spend big on these players such as Angel Di Maria. Falcao was worth over 10 million, and that was just a loan, and he was still worth over $10 million. And they didn't work out, clearly. So you've got to spend it wisely, especially with the fair play regulations now.
Yeah.
So they've put a bit of a cap on how much the top clubs can actually spend. Do you know how that works?
No, not really, but I just want to say that, I think both, it wasn't just Blatter, Platini was also suspended from his role as the UEFA president. So don't believe too much all this financial nonsense, because he's just he's a French Blatter, But no, they didn't really put a cap on it. It was more a rule which said, you gotta, if you're gonna spend more than you gain, you have to be at a certain level of money lost. So like you couldn't go below minus 10 million. I don't really know the figure, but I mean ridiculous amount of money, obviously. But yeah, I mean yeah, like you said, it doesn't matter how much you spend anyway. I think thanks to Leicester, we just don't know what to predict anymore. Like, I think if another middle-sized club or even a small club goes and does it again, maybe we shouldn't be surprised anymore, because it's just so unpredictable.
It is. And that was, what a fairy tale ending that was, to see Leicester City conquer, not just the likes of, Man United, Chelsea, because they weren't really in the title picture for the most part. It was really, Spurs, Arsenal,
Arsenal, City.
City. So and they played well throughout. And you talked about Chelsea's style of play and how you liked it. One thing that stood out in Leicester City's favour was their counter-attacking plays. With someone of the ilk of Jamie Vardy's quality, using his pace to trouble defenders, they didn't need so much possession of the ball to hurt teams. They just needed a really good counter-attack. And of course, they have a Kante in the midfield, and they can control the ball. But at the heart of it, they had a very good attack, and Jamie Vardy was just on fire, and one of the prime reasons why they won the Premier League. So, like you said, it's not all about transfers. Some of it can be unpredictable, and now more than ever, I think Arsene Wenger made the comments during the season. Football's being played more with less possession than it once normally was. You don't need so much of the ball to impact a game. If anything, you need a bit less, because in the modern era, athletes such as Jamie, I mean, the strikers now are generally quite fast, and defenders have needed to be fast as well. So there's just a constant evolution which takes place, and people don't realize that, but that evolution of fast-paced football is a reason why Leicester City won the title. Not just because of astute transfers, but the fact that the evolution helped them in their style of play.
Yeah, deadly right. It's I think apart from Barcelona, probably there aren't that many teams that actually need the ball to win, because Barcelona's style is just so unique. But apart from them, every other team. Well, actually, Arsenal. The thing about Arsenal though is they try to play as Barcelona, but their players are half as good, so it doesn't work for them. But because they have a lot of possession in most games. But yeah, most other teams they play counter attack. Especially the Premier League is just it's non-stop. Like that. Yeah, it's basically counter-attacking all the time from one goal to another. That's why it's so exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the season starts in about a month. Yeah, can't even wait now.
See, that's a short way away, isn't it? I thought
Yeah.
the EPL ended. Oh, it ended a good month or two ago, didn't it? Hasn't felt like a huge while. I guess one of the reasons why is due to the European Championships.
Yeah.
The European Brazil, or
Yeah, it lagged.
did it?
Yeah,
That's
no.
right.
What were you saying?
I was just saying that the England national team, um,
Pathetic.
they and Wayne Rooney, Harry Kane, Raheem Sterling, they had a young team, but again, they just didn't live up to the hype.
They had a clueless manager. I mean, Roy
Why
Hodgson.
with
How did Roy Hodgson get the job in the first place? I mean, anyway. I mean, he should have. It's like Spain's national team.
his
It's like
team? You know what they should do? The England national team, they should pitch out towards Sir Alex Ferguson. There's no reason why Sir Alex Ferguson could not take that job. It would be less stress on him than coaching a club, and he hasn't coached a national team before. I think. I um, it'd be hard to
yeah.
pick out the manager.
Um, you said Alex Ferguson. I don't think that will happen because I mean, I don't know how much it's got to do Brexit with all this. Um, you hear me, yeah? But Brexit.
Mm.
The Scottish, most of them voted to remain, and the English mostly voted to leave. I don't think either the English or Scottish would want. Well, they're not really foreign; they all belong to the UK, but they have home nations. They're not really foreign. The Scottish from the English, but they are home nations, and so they do consider themselves to be a little different. I don't think they would want Sir Alex as their manager. The
That's a
English.
good point you raised. The Brexit, the whole voting system and everything. There's been a lot of criticism about it, ranging from actors and even J.K. Rowling, the Harry Potter author, was quite critical of it.
Yeah, I saw.
I mean, yeah, that was more of a hypothetical thing, saying that Sir Alex Ferguson could potentially do it. I reckon he could. It's just whether he has the commitment to it, because England have promised so much. So their next manager will have to live under that burden of stress once again. So, who can they look for? Like Louis van Gaal might put his hand up for the job. But I mean, he wouldn't be a sound appointment because the Man U didn't make top four. So it'll be interesting to see who the next manager is. It has to be someone with credentials, um, and it has to be someone who has the drive to get England back into one of the top teams in the league. Because in the league, of national teams in the world, because on quality, they've got it. They've got a great captain, Wayne Rooney. They've got these young players, Raheem Sterling, Jack Wilshere. I mean, the list goes on.
Yeah, no, they have abundance of talent. I think the manager they're thinking of bringing in, or whose favorite at the moment, is Gareth Southgate. I don't know too much about him. He's the current manager, I think, of the under-21s team. So he's actually, I think his name has just popped up because I think they won the under-21s European Championship or World Cup, something like that. So he's been successful with the younger group. But I think they have to bring a young manager. I mean, and if they bring someone like him, he actually won't be under too much pressure because, I mean, how much worse can you do than what they've done in the past two tournaments? I mean, no, I mean, I know it sounds funny, but I think Rio, Ferdinand, and Alan Shearer, a few other well-known former players, they said, you can't do worse than what they are at the moment with the team they have. Um, yeah, I think they should go for young. Maybe they should go for Gary Neville. I would like him. Yeah, he was actually the assistant of Roy Hodgson. Not, I think people prefer him more as a pundit, but because he's a good pundit. But yeah, I would like to see him as a manager. It'll be fun. Get all these former players, and Zidane has gone to Madrid. Gary Neville, England manager. So many former players are kind of like becoming managers now.
It would be a nice Gary Neville become the manager, but based on his credentials, I mean, he's been a great commentator and pundit on television, but he had that stint with Valencia in La Liga, which didn't turn out well.
Yeah,
I think
well, he shouldn't. He shouldn't. I mean, it was hard to say no for him when the offer came. I mean, if I was him, I probably would have taken it as well, but it was too big a task. I mean, they had a horrible season. Hopefully they now that you bring up Valencia, hopefully I don't think they can do much worse, especially now because they have signed Luis Nani from Fenerbahce. Did you know that?
no, I didn't.
Well, yeah, the signing was yesterday, so it's a good signing
Oh yeah, I mean, he's proven himself that he can,
in the Euros. You can still
yeah,
do it.
yeah, and Portugal's still in, the Euro Championships, and one of the reasons why has Nani, Ronaldo, not Ronaldo, Renato Sanchez.
Yeah.
He looks for in the next 5 years. I mean, he looks absolutely sensational. I wouldn't be surprised if he just goes straight into the Bayern Munich starting squad. He not
No.
only can he control the ball, but he has real power, and he's only what 19 years old, so he's a year younger
Yeah.
than me.
Yeah, I know. When you bring up these players, I feel like I failed at life, to be honest. I look at these young athletes, and it's like I know we're talking about soccer here, but it's like this. I know we're talking about soccer, but it's like this Formula One driver who is also 18. It's like athletes are getting younger and younger now. It's crazy.
It is, and not just Renato Sanchez. There's plenty of examples. You've got Odegaard from Real Madrid, who made his senior debut at, I think it was 16 or 15 years old. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
Yeah, no, it was that age.
yeah, I mean that's just absolutely ridiculous. So and he's from Norway. Is he still at Real Madrid?
Yeah, he's in the second team, so they play in a lower division, but I think yeah, he's still gonna need because physically he's still a bit small to compete in the top league. But I mean, hopefully we keep him. Because otherwise, I mean, we could sell him, but I think Real Madrid is not a selling club. Like, we have so much money, so we don't need to sell to make money. So it's like United in a way. So I mean, hopefully they keep him. Like Varane, I think Varane is looks like he's going nowhere in the end. Well, that was a big.
Over, he's held it for a while. Very talented player, and I would think now would be the time where Varane stands up for Real Madrid because he's got such talent and he's only very young. Real Madrid squad is actually quite young compared to other top clubs. And in fact, I think Cristiano Ronaldo was actually complaining about that at one point. I'm not sure if it was due to injuries or what, but he just said, so it's always a balancing act. Bringing in youth players and complementing them with experience.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of experience, it's like with Ryan Giggs. It's Man United squad is also getting quite young. It's a bit of a shame in a way that he has left because he announced it yesterday, I think. Um, he wants to become a manager though, so it makes sense that Ryan Giggs has left because Mourinho's got the job. But yeah, his experience would have been invaluable for guys like Rashford. So it's a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, I guess when Louis Van Gaal left, I don't think Ryan Giggs agreed with that. I think he wanted Louis Van Gaal to stay because he was very comfortable in that assistant manager position, still gaining that experience. He's been a manager before when David Moyes was sacked. He had to fill the void for a period of time. I think it was like a quarter of the season, and he did actually quite well. Um,
Yeah, it was for 4 games, I think. But yeah, he did
yeah,
okay. He
um,
definitely he looked like he belonged there. Mourinho doesn't belong anywhere. Like I said, I think he's a short-term manager. He just goes to all these different clubs and succeeds wherever he goes. But Ryan Giggs would have or could have. He can still become the new Sir Alex if they bring him in the future. Obviously, not in the next year or two, but once Mourinho is gone, I think once Mourinho is gone, he'll unless there is another really good manager out there, I think he will be because I think he might even find a job for next season already. Surely, I mean they're a champion, maybe not a Premier League club, no, but I think a second tier club will get him without a doubt.
yeah, because like you said, he does have that experience already. But one thing we have to note is that Jose Mourinho is only 53, 55 years old, and in a manager term, that's very young.
Yeah,
You see Arsene Wenger, he's still pushing on, and he's in his 70s or late 60s. So Jose Mourinho, he doesn't see the Manchester United team as a short-term project. I would think he sees this as a long-term thing. Some of his transfers would kind of go against that, though, bringing in Ibrahimovic. There's so many of these, young players that need that experience and guidance, and that's something Ibrahimovic offers.
Oh yeah, he'll be giving Marcus Rashford all sorts of talks, I reckon. Because Zlatan has just done it all, apart from winning the Champions League, which an interviewer asked him not so long ago, and he's like, would you? Well, yeah, I showed you, and he didn't regret not winning the Champions League because he's just been so successful in every league he's been. The goat's freezing a bit.
That's all good.
Yeah.
So yeah, what you were saying that Zlatan Ibrahimovic, he, even though he hasn't won the UEFA Champions League, he still has titles from like every single country he's been to. So he's still
No
been
regrets.
incredibly, yeah. I mean, one regret he may have, though, or not a regret, but when he left Inter Milan, Jose Mourinho bought over Eto'o, and in replacement, Barcelona got Zlatan. They were part of the same transfer, and Zlatan, they actually met Barcelona and Inter in a UEFA Champions League semi-final or quarter-final, and Barcelona lost. And you saw at the end of the game, or near the end of the game, Jose Mourinho tap Pep Guardiola's shoulder and just say, "Hey, mate, you haven't done it." I mean, they obviously don't like each other, and now they're facing each other in the English Premier League, so it just goes full circle. I mean, even that's like a huge thing in itself. I mean, Pep Guardiola is managing the Manchester City squad, and Jose Mourinho is managing the Manchester United squad, and they're absolute rivals at heart.
They said Manchester was gonna, or is, the new capital of football, and because I'm in Madrid, we had an all Madrid Champions League final, and people here are like, well, hang on a second, which teams have made the final of the year? So yeah, I think the only shame with Premier League clubs in general is that in the Champions League they just don't put up a fight. The only shame about Premier League clubs is that they don't do well in the Champions League, because I mean they have, financially, they are, overall as a league, they are the most powerful.
Yeah. So the video froze a little bit. So you were talking about like the finances of the English teams.
Yeah, no, I was just saying that they were saying that now that both Guardiola and Mourinho are there, and all the people in Manchester are saying that that's the capital. Well, people in Madrid are saying no, we're the capital because we had an all Madrid final.
Yeah.
Which is true.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say next is that yeah, it's just a shame that English clubs don't do better in the Champions League, because yeah, they just, I mean, Leicester, I think it's kind of obvious because they won the league, so their financial benefits would have gone up, massively. But I think they signed a player for like nearly 20 million. Leicester. Like,
Who was that player?
Oh, I can't. No, he wasn't that well known. He was probably a young talent. I read it. I read it somewhere. Um, I think they announced it, so it's not like no, it's not a rumor. Like they officially signed him, but he was nearly 20 million, and it's like Leicester. That club was in the Championship like not that long ago. Like it's just ridiculous.
and
Okay.
really fix
Look,
the team up.
I found Leicester signed Nigeria's Ahmed Musa from CSK Moscow.
Oh, he's a great player. Yeah, he's only like 21, 20 years old.
2023, yeah.
Play and he would have been bought from CSK Moscow.
Yeah, that's where he was signed from for 20 million basically.
Yeah, he's a very good player. That's and one thing, he has Champions League experience because CSK Moscow have been, you know, I mean, yeah, like you said, 20 million. Who would have thought that Leicester City could spend that much after being in debt in the Champions League? Like they had no money. Um,
I
and to
think
see
even
a yeah.
yeah, I think even championship clubs now have are starting just to spend more than other clubs in the top divisions. I think it's kind of unfair in a way that the Premier League only has 20 teams because there are so many other. I mean, well, Aston Villa recently they don't deserve to be there because I think the owners have given up on that club, which is a shame. But there are other clubs which, I mean, Newcastle. How's Newcastle there? Like, I think the Premier League should be at least like made up of 30 teams because there are so many clubs in the second division that you're like, what are you doing there? You know, you're too big to be there.
Yeah, so to speak. And a lot of people, there's this statistic, this valid statistic, which says that, um, Leicester City were 5,000 to 1 odds with the bookmakers to win the English Premier League at the start of the season. So some of them had them in the relegation zone. So who knows? Maybe a team, maybe they won't win the title, but they can, surprise everyone and, compete with some of the top teams. I mean, talking about, middle to top teams, Newcastle United for a period of time was very competitive, especially when they had, Demba Ba, and that
Cisse.
Cisse combination that worked brilliantly. Um, but now they're finding themselves in the second division of English football. I mean, that has been an absolute tragedy. Um, at the same time, they've got a good manager in Rafael Benitez, who has that experience in world football, but I don't think he's experienced the second division. I think he coached or had experience with Real Madrid's second team, but yeah, it's going to be a challenge to well, just to bring good players into that club when they're playing, the second team,
Yeah, I mean,
the
I
second
think,
league.
well, I think some players might still be attracted because I think it would be a huge failure if Newcastle don't go back up again. Um, they should. It's like West Ham when they went down; they went back up again the year after. So I'm hoping they do because the Newcastle Sunderland derby is just crazy. That's I don't think not many derbies compared to that one. I think you
In
have to
terms,
see Newcastle Sunderland. Yeah, you have to because Newcastle went down the night that Sunderland won. So their win confirmed Newcastle going down, and you have to see the Sunderland fans. They were like, I mean, they were celebrating a title, literally. Like they hate each other so much.
rival teams such as Real Madrid, Barcelona, but then you don't realize the some of the lesser teams like Newcastle United and Sunderland. They have really good rivalries. As you mentioned, there's more of an atmosphere. It's more electric.
Oh yeah,
Sometimes.
way too electric. Like people just lose their minds sometimes. But yeah, I mean, they've just so many clubs in England just have. I mean, Real Madrid has what 114 years of history. I'm pretty sure, but English clubs have even more. Most of them, even British clubs, not just English clubs, like Celtic, Glasgow. But yeah, I mean, it's just a shame that Newcastle went down for me anyway. Not for Sunderland fans, I think, but I think even for them, I think they will miss that derby. I think I think we maybe in a few years, if Newcastle don't go back up, they're like, please come back up because we want to have that derby again. It attracted so many people, me included.
Yeah. Well, and to think of Newcastle United performing in the second league, I mean, geez, that was a surprise. They've got international players, high quality international players such as Wijnaldum
Sissoko.
from Holland, Sissoko, of course, from France, who's competing at the Euro.
Mm.
Um, so if I was Sissoko or Wijnaldum, unless they have real loyalty to the club, you've got to leave. There's no ifs or buts about it. The players of that quality shouldn't be playing in the second league. Not only does it affect their national team selection chances, but it
Yeah,
also affects, like they're playing against teams. They want to play, against the top teams like Manchester United, Manchester City. I mean, that's when you're an aspiring footballer, you dream of, playing with or playing against some of these top teams. And in the second division of their quality, they're not going to be doing that. So it'd be interesting to see where they go, or if they do go. Um,
yeah, they haven't. I haven't heard anything from them. The fact that they've got Benitez might convince them to stay. Um, I mean, if I was one of the players, I'm not sure I would be convinced because I've seen Benitez at Real Madrid and he wasn't very good. But yeah, I think they will go back up. I would be very surprised if they don't because their stadium is like 50 odd thousand.
or
It's
more,
not,
yeah.
or even more. It's just yeah. No, they'll go back up.
Yeah, especially with the quality they have, the manager that they've got. He's just coming back from. There's not. I wonder in history, if there's ever been that transition of someone coaching Real Madrid and then managing a second team, like a
Um,
second league division team.
I think managers that have been sacked, no, probably. But I mean, it's a step down, but not. It was more. It's a bigger the step down of the situation he was going from. So the situation he started with which was okay, a new season with Madrid, start fresh. He went from that to trying to save Newcastle from relegation. That is kind of like, yeah, that is the biggest step because stepping down to Newcastle isn't a massive step down. Like um, Newcastle, they're very demanding, or their fans are very demanding. Um, so in terms of pressure, he hasn't been he hasn't lost a huge amount. Um, I think it was more the step down of going to a club that was facing relegation, but the size of Newcastle isn't actually that small.
Yeah, it's
Like
it's
if he doesn't start well now when the season starts, I think he might get sacked again. So he needs to get off to a good start.
yeah. I mean, if they manage to hold on to those players such as Sissoko and Wijnaldum, then that they'd be a shoe-in to win the league. With players of that quality playing in the second division, having a manager with experience not just in La Liga, but he managed Liverpool, and they were actually, barring title success, they were actually quite competitive. Liverpool, more competitive than they were at this point, um,
Yeah,
under Jurgen Klopp. Um, but I mean, and that's another interesting football for a long time, but recently or the last decade, their success has been minimal. Um, they lost the Europa League. Forgot what team it was against, but
Sevilla.
yeah. So they're a competitive team in La Liga. Um,
Yeah,
but
relatively. I mean, they had a poor season this season. It was the Europa League that saved them. Um, that was such a good, what I said a few years ago, and I told you that now that winner of the Europa League makes it to the Champions League, that was such a good idea because it makes it worth. It's like now I actually watch it a lot more. Especially last season, I followed it. I saw when United played Liverpool. I saw so many games, and you could tell that these clubs. I mean, some of them probably didn't try as hard because they were already in the top four, like Villarreal, for example. But they're a good team as well. But clubs like Liverpool or Sevilla, they had to win it because otherwise the season would have been. Well, for Liverpool, it was a disappointing season again. Sevilla, they saved themselves. I think last season in the league, they didn't win a single away game, and they still finished seventh. So they must have had a pretty
wow.
good home. They must have had a pretty good home record. That is, it's shocking in terms of away matches, but very good at home.
Hmm. I mean, that's an amazing statistic. So they must have, won heaps of, home games. Um, they must just like, playing at home, or they don't like playing away. Or there must be something to that. Uh,
Yeah,
where I'm not sure if it was just luck or they were unlucky that it happened that way. Um,
yeah, a bit of everything. I think, well, or maybe they drew a lot of away games as well, possibly. But I mean, they had a good manager because their manager has gone to PSG now, Emery. So what a step up for him that is.
well, yeah, I mean, PSG, one of the one thing that PSG hasn't got yet is the UEFA Champions League Cup, and they're aiming for it. In terms of French football, you brought up the statistic of the gap between first and second being, enormous. Um, and so they have French football. I mean, they're the giant of French football, and now they want to become a giant of Champions. Hey, are you online?
Yeah, that throws big time.
Oh my God, is this still?
It is, yeah. I think next time I might try it on my phone.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
But
Well, we're lucky that the broadcast didn't stop. Like I was actually because we had like a really good conversation. So, um,
yeah, it's just I think it's just distance. Because I mean, Wi-Fi is working well for me. I
yeah,
assume it's working well for you as well.
yeah,
It's just you guys are too far away.
yeah. It's
You're
like
down under.
Melbourne to Madrid. But
Yeah,
thanks.
if
Yeah.
you were on the west coast of Australia, it would still be perhaps a little closer. But no, you have to be on the east, even further away.
So, um, you know, but as I was saying before, like PSG, they could have got Jose Mourinho. Um, they were one of the clubs which, were trying to seek his services to reach Champions Cup glory. And I wonder if they had have got Jose Mourinho, if Zlatan would have stayed. I bet he would have. Um,
Yeah, I think so too.
but just from a football perspective, they're a giant club. And you were talking about the incentive of playing Europa League football, the chance that you can actually get a guaranteed spot into the UEFA Champions League, which provides added incentive. It's not just a tournament which you play for nothing. There's actually reward to it. Um, I mean, if you can't make the top four, you can compete in that tournament, and there's also financial reward behind it. So it has more meaning.
Yeah, I mean, if you qualify, if it happens to you like Liverpool, if you fail to win the final, um, it's still considered, a failure. But yeah, I mean, when you look forward to the next season, then of course you will try to win it. It's like well, United are in it, so I would expect Mourinho to try and win it. Um, yeah, I think, in fact, I think what they'll do is play Zlatan in the Premier League and Rashford in the cup competitions. That's probably what I see happening.
Yeah, because Martial has proven himself as a wing player. I mean, he can play just as well on the wing as he can a striker because he's very good on the ball. He's got great ball control and dribbling. He's been playing on the wing for France, obviously, because striker they have Griezmann,
Giroud.
Giroud, um, Benzema possibly, I think. So um, so yeah, and Rashford has proven himself as a young player. It's kind of a situation at Chelsea before where they brought in Didier Drogba when he was 35 years old, and same with Samuel Eto'o when he came to Chelsea. I think Jose Mourinho likes that, having an experienced striker that can support some of the young ones in the squad, and it's proven to be successful. So,
Mm.
and with a player of Zlatan's quality, you would only think that would continue.
Well, yeah, and also with his ego, I don't think you can bench him either. But
Mm,
um, yeah, I mean, when he brought those experienced players to Chelsea, he didn't really have a young striker, so this is a bit new for him. How do you keep Rashford satisfied? I mean, he's still very young, so yeah, if he plays him in cup tournaments, I think the guy will be happy enough because yeah, he's just got so much. I mean, like physically, he's not the end product. Like he's got before he becomes the end product, he's still got even 5 years or seven.
mm.
It's just ridiculous how someone that young is already in that first team.
Yeah, and he came from the youth academy from Manchester United, and due to injuries to Wayne Rooney, Louis van Gaal, and that's one thing that we have to credit Louis van Gaal for, the amounts of young players he's brought into into the
Yeah, but
team.
in a way, you know, he deserves credit, but not as much as maybe some people say, because he didn't really have. It's like I was surprised with Chelsea not signing that many players. I was also surprised with how few strikers United had at the start of the season. They had well, Lingard. You can't even. Well, no, not Lingard. Oh no, I was similar. No, because Lingard was a goalkeeper, but it was just yeah another young striker and Rooney. Like you didn't have any strikers. There was So yeah, in a way, yeah, obviously credit to him, but he was forced to bring in an academy player because you guys didn't have anyone.
Mm.
I mean, Falcao doesn't count. Like he's finished.
We were out of strikers essentially, and not just Robin van Persie and Danny Welbeck, but Hernandez. Uh,
Yeah, like you shipped out all your strikers.
players. The fact that injuries were brought upon, and also the fact that he let go some play. Um, you know, seeing someone like Falcao, um, I think clubs recognise the talent that he has, but after the ACL injury, he hasn't really been able to get his form going. He played with Chelsea, but what's going on with Falcao now? Is he playing for Chelsea? What's he doing?
Unemployed. like I have no idea to be honest. I don't think. Well, Copa America was yeah was like yeah it finished what last week. Um, Messi announced that he retired from Argentina, which is a bit of a shock. But I don't think Falcao even played at the Copa America. So
Mm.
that's
He
just
wasn't
how bad.
selected. He wasn't selected.
Yeah, yeah, just well, understandably, because he wasn't even fit, I think. But yeah, I mean, he might be the new. I mean, obviously, he wasn't. I mean, actually, no, he was a pretty good footballer, but after
He
his career,
was.
he might end up as the new Maradona, you know, because he's after football. I mean, because yeah, I don't know what he's gonna do now.
I think, yeah, because Falcao, when he was playing for Atletico Madrid, I mean, he was an absolute superstar player. Arguably, at one point in his career, he was the best striker in the world.
Oh,
Just
one of, yeah, he was, yeah,
well,
just
he
incredible.
not only was he good, had a good goal nous, but he was very good aerially. He was, 5'11", but he could jump. He could play like a tall player and could play small on the ground. And you're talking about Zlatan Ibrahimovic. I mean, that's something that he can offer Manchester United. He can offer a similar style of play as Falcao, but even better. He's taller, a good 4 inches, 5 inches taller, and he's got superb technical skills. I think he dabbled in martial arts as a child, and sometimes he's known for like the karate kick or whatever. He uses that sometimes.
I think, yeah, yeah. Well, to control the ball, I think I've seen a few videos of him doing that. Yeah. No, he's just, if anything, he lacks a bit of speed. Um, but he doesn't need it really because they don't play through balls to him. They mostly play in the air, where he just brings it down and does the rest. So yeah, I mean, hopefully, hopefully he can stay. Because if United make top four, I don't think he will leave.
No, um, he's only
I
got
mean,
a
it's not.
one-year
It's not.
contract.
Yeah, like it's. I said yeah. I mean, I kind of said that wrongly. Like it's not really his choice whether he leaves or not because it's just a 1 year contract. But if United make top four, they will offer him a new 1 year contract without a doubt.
Yeah, I think 1 year from a club perspective was the right call. I was actually, as a supporter of Manchester United, I was hoping for 2 years, just so we could get that stability of having a really good striker and developing alongside of him, Marcus Rashford, Anthony Martial. And one person we've kind of forgotten in this conversation is Memphis Depay, coming from PSV. People called him, one of the best talents, the next Cristiano Ronaldo when he came to Manchester United. He was in the starting squad at the start of the season, and you can tell he's extremely talented. Like when I watched games of him, I was like, wow, this guy, not only can he control the ball, but he's got great finishing ability. I mean, he kicked like a hat trick against, or not a hat trick, or may have been a hat trick, when they were qualifying for the UEFA Champions League, and he
No,
just
yeah,
dominated.
I remember one of his goals at that stage. Um, Hopefully he just doesn't become a new Falcao because Falcao moved to Monaco. In Monaco, he still did okay, but nowhere near as good as Atletico. Like they paid 60 million for Falcao, so yeah, he was like one of the top three strikers back then. Um, Crazy.
Are you on?
Yeah,
Yeah,
oh, it's still
I
there.
think my internet. I think it was me. I think
Possibly.
my Wi-Fi or something just went down. So we'll
Um,
finish up in 5 to 10 minutes because I'm worried that like the video will just end. But no, as you were saying, um, you know,
he just, yeah, yeah, like
Falcao was
United.
brought over.
I think United paid a lot less for him, about
Yeah,
20 million. But he just, I mean, to be fair, he hasn't lived up to it.
nah, and it was a
Um,
loan deal as well. It wasn't a permanent move. It was just a loan deal, and they played over 10 million, which was a rip off.
oh, was it? Oh, I thought it was it really. I think they'll keep him anyway. But because yeah, because I mean, it happens to a lot of players when they go to another club. It takes them. It's like when Tottenham sold Gareth Bale, and then well, obviously they didn't only bring in one player. They brought in quite a few. They had like a new starting 11, to be fair, and yeah, some of them, Lamela, for example, it took time for him to kick off. So Depay maybe next season will be better.
Oh, sorry. Were you? I was referring when I was referring to the loan move. Sorry, because the video was lagging. It's hard to keep track of the conversation sometimes. I was talking about Falcao and how his move to
Yeah,
Manchester United was a loan move. I think I think we got a bit confused. You may have thought I was mentioning Memphis Depay.
Depay, yeah, yeah,
No. His was a permanent move to Manchester
yeah,
United. And he's younger than Falcao. He has that on his side.
yeah. He
Um,
still got time.
oh yeah, definitely. And hopefully Jose Mourinho can bring that out of him. And what I found really sad though was that when Manchester United won the FA Cup, Memphis Depay wasn't even on the bench. He didn't even make the bench, and yet at the start of the season he was a starting 11 player. And he had a really good relationship with Louis van Gaal, coming from Holland. You know, he was the previous Holland manager, and was quite successful with them in the
Yeah,
World Cup.
that was another surprise, I guess. The fact that his manager was from the same country as him, as the pie. So yeah, that was a bit of a surprise. But I mean, when your form is that bad, then yeah, you're running into trouble. Surprised he
Yeah,
wasn't at least on the bench, but yeah,
but as the saying goes, form is temporary and class is permanent.
yeah,
And you know it holds true. And I guess Memphis Depay, unlike Radamel Falcao, he has youth on his side, and it's okay to be a little inconsistent. Um, but at a club like Manchester United, you only have few chances to really prove yourself. Um, and I think because it wasn't just Memphis Depay, you know, just Manchester United in general, they just didn't have that necessary quality to really challenge for the title. Um, and now with some of the transfers they've got in, they also got Mkhitaryan from Borussia Dortmund. So that
and
should be a
Bailey,
good player. And Eric Bailey
yeah,
from is he from?
Villarreal.
Yeah, so he's from La Liga. Do you know much about him?
No, no, actually, well, he was part of a successful team last season, but I didn't hear too much of him. No.
Mm.
I saw this
He's
funny
tout,
meme though.
he's touted as a really good up and coming defender, like could be one of the best in the world. They paid quite a bit for him.
Oh yeah, 40 million.
Yeah.
That was a bit of a rip-off, to be fair. I think I'm not. I can't remember him being in the starting 11, to be fair. But I mean, the whole Villarreal team, they have a good manager, Marcelino, but he's not that well known abroad. But in Spain, he is. And yeah, and they have Soldado as well. He
Yeah.
didn't. He wasn't that good at Tottenham, but he's been good over there. I saw this funny meme though. It was like, oh man, it was Woodward. He was like, Jose, I told you to bring Bale, not Bailey, you useless idiot. It's the wrong player.
Oh, that's a good meme. Yeah, because Bale, you know, is a high quality winger. You know, moving from Spurs to Real Madrid was over like $70 million, and yeah, and that's something that Manchester United, you know, lacks in depth. That right midfield position, and Bale would have suited that to a T. But he's quite comfortable with Real Madrid. I mean, they just won the Champions League, so um, we've
Yeah,
been
he's
playing
just.
you.
Mm.
Yeah, so we've been playing, you know, Juan Mata and Lingard in that right midfield position. But as we know with Juan Mata, Jose Mourinho doesn't really like Juan Mata's style of play. He's not that defensive, extremely good on the ball, but he's not that defensive. And when he sold him to United, he didn't really, you know, it wasn't a big deal. So it would just be interesting to see how that dynamic works between Mata and Mourinho, um,
Well, I don't think he's
because
gonna work at all.
Wayne Rooney is going to play number 10, um, or in the central midfield because Zlatan and Martial have to play. So where can Mata play?
Yeah, I mean, I would play him because I'm a big fan of him, and I can't believe we didn't take him to the Euros. Don't get me started on the Spanish national team. But we were just well like England to be fair. But um, what was I gonna say? I think if Mata ends up going to a team like Everton, yeah, Everton again will be expected to finish right up there because they have a very good young team as well. I mean, Ross Barkley and Juan Mata in the same team with Lukaku up front. I mean, if they get a chemistry going, yeah, that's going to be deadly.
Yeah, I mean, Everton, they have such a really well-balanced squad with, Phil Jagielka, Leighton Baines,
So
Lukaku coming from Chelsea, as you mentioned. He's, one of the best. Well, not he's about 22, 23 years old. He's still young, and he's a great striker. I mean, he rivaled Jamie Vardy in terms of goals scored in the EPL
yeah,
season.
yeah, it's actually, I think that's why their manager got sacked, because with the amount of goals he scored, they should have finished top six at least. They didn't defend that well. Perhaps they need a new goalkeeper. Um, Perhaps they need a new goalkeeper. Maybe a few guys in the midfield, because Gareth Barry is getting old. Tim Howard is gone. So they've lost. I mean, some of their key players are starting to. Leighton Baines, I mean, he's still good, but he's a bit pro injury.
mm,
But yeah, I mean, they have some very good young players. They have to just find. They have to bring in a few others, and so they combine and become a
yeah,
better team.
I mean, they could be, a Leicester City replica. I mean, they're one of these teams which is even more established than Leicester City were than the previous seasons or the two previous seasons. But I mean, they're a very good point of difference to challenge for the, not necessarily for the EPL title, but definitely the top four. I mean, they have the team.
Yeah, and they brought in Ronald Koeman now as their manager. So and look what he's done to the Southampton team. Except I'm surprised he left Southampton because it's a good job to have. I mean, you don't really have pressure over there, because most fans expect you to finish perhaps mid-table, and they just keep improving year after year.
Mm,
And their academy, like the players that have come out from Southampton, Bale came out from their academy, Walcott, Oxlade. They've yeah, some of the talent they brought out of these. Look at them now, how much they're worth.
yeah, just phenomenal players and national team members as well to boast. And with that, we'll end the podcast there. So I just want to thank Luis for coming on the Sports Epilogue podcast, all the way from Madrid in Spain.
Madrid,
And
Laudécima,
sorry, what was that?
Laudécima, mate. The Champions League. We're the kings.
All right. Yeah. Do you hold the most
You start,
titles?
yeah, 11. Second most is AC Milan, but they're 7. They're too far away. But
Yep.
I just want to say to the listeners, one day this podcast is going to come to Spain because Jono will be a correspondent, and we'll do it at the Bernabeu.
So, sorry, what did you say? The video.
Yeah, I know it lagged at the wrong time. Um, no, don't lag. I was just saying, like, you have to come over here once and do the podcast next to the Bernabeu.
Oh yeah. that would be awesome. But before the podcast crashes, we'll end it there. So
Closer.
and thank you for listening.
Yeah, mate.